I'm Chanelle Adams and welcome to my channel. This video is about the journey of learning another language. So this journey has been extremely interesting. My first language that I acquired was Spanish, and even though I'm not 100% perfect, I am at a point where I can understand pretty much everything that I hear, and I can say exactly what I feel and people can understand me. So to me, that is fluency. That's what I'm going to consider fluency, because there is no way to be 100% perfect in the language that you acquire. Even in your native language, there's no way to be 100% perfect, 100% fluent. So I consider myself fluent in Spanish, and now I want to share some of the things that I've learned in that journey. The first thing that I learned about learning another language is sometimes that journey is a lonely one. Sometimes you find yourself alone. Sometimes you are the only one that can give you the thing that you need. Sometimes it's just studying. Sometimes it's just watching a TV show or watching a movie, taking notes, things like that. It's a very lonely type of profession. The studying of another language takes a lot of you time. You have to be alone to do these things. You can't really depend on someone else's work. You can't depend on someone else's skill. It can feel really lonely, especially when you want to try to reach out to family and friends and talk to them about something new that you learned in your language, or talk about the progress that you've received, or, you know, that level up feeling, and they're totally not interested. It's like, okay, I don't care, you know, and they're not interested, and that's fine. That maybe that's not their cup of tea. Maybe that's not what they like, but it can be really, you can feel really lonely when the people around you don't really encourage, or they're not really super interested in this new field that you've taken up in learning languages. So sometimes when you're just super excited and you're like, oh my gosh, I learned a new word today, or did you know this about this culture, or something like that, and it went one ear and out the other. They just don't care. Sometimes that can feel really lonesome. You can feel really lonely in those moments. This is something that you can only do for yourself. So you tend to be alone for a lot, or even the majority of your learning process. The second thing that I learned about my journey while learning another language was sometimes it's depressing. I mean, when you're spending all this time by yourself, studying and learning and just trying to absorb as much as you can, you kind of can be depressed. I mean, you're by yourself, so it gets depressing. And not only that, when you're constantly making mistakes and you're trying to do well and you're practicing and you're studying and you're doing all of the things that you think you're supposed to do and that you are supposed to do, and you still make mistakes, you can feel really depressed, because you're like, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing all that is required for me to become fluent in this language, and I keep making mistakes. I keep messing up. That can be depressing, and it could really take a hit to your ego, especially if you've been bragging to people, oh, I speak another language. Oh, yo puedo hablar en otro idioma. You know, it can really take a hit at your ego. So it can be really depressing when you're not accomplishing the things that you think you should accomplish, or at least hitting the timelines that you think you should be hitting at that time. So sometimes you can be a bit depressed. Even though learning another language is super gratifying and you can be super satisfied with your level, there are times where you start to doubt. That self-doubt kicks in, and you just don't know if you'll ever make it. You don't know if you'll ever get to that point where you'll become fluent, if you'll ever be understood, or if you'll ever understand people when they speak, especially different accents. You know, so that self-doubt can really hit hard, and you think, I can never do it. What's the point of studying? What's the point of practicing? What's the point of doing these things if I'll never be what I want, which is a linguist, which is a polyglot or bilingual or fluent in this language? So that self-doubt can kick in, and it can really hurt sometimes when you think, you know, I can't do this. The last thing that I believe was really difficult in my language learning journey for Spanish was the realization that I'm never going to be perfect. The realization that I'm never going to speak perfectly in Spanish. But it was at that very moment where I said, well, I'll never be perfect. I'll never be perfect, but that's okay. It's okay if I'm not perfect. It's okay if I don't exactly get the words right, or if I say it in the wrong order, if I use the wrong tense or whatever. It's okay. And even though that realization was hard and was scary, it was that very realization that made me feel comfortable, and I think that pushed me from B2 to C1 in my Spanish level, because I started to just let go. I let go of all of the self-doubt. I let go of all of the depression and the feelings of loneliness. I let that go. And once I did that, my language learning journey became way more enjoyable and way more fulfilling. And I believe that was the last step it took for me to become fluent in Spanish. And as of now, I am taking on my third language. I am learning French. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be learning French. Honestly, it feels like I am back at square one. But I'm okay with it, because now I feel like I know how to learn a language, and all I'm hoping for is that the people that are helping me in my journey, whether it's people in France or Ivory Coast or Martinique or wherever I decide to visit and learn, I'm just hoping that they're welcoming, and I'm hoping that they can teach me what I need to know, and that they're patient with me, just like the people in Spain, Colombia, Mexico, just like they were to me. They were so patient with me, so loving, so kind. And I owe it to my friends that I've met there. I owe it to them for all of the progress that I have. So I must say, I'm really hoping that my French journey can be like that, because it is pretty daunting to learn another language. So guys, I started something new on my channel. It's my live stream where I'm practicing my Spanish with you guys. And it's also featuring my subscribers like you who are learning Spanish. And together we're discussing topics, having debates, having conversations, all in Spanish.
Yo ponía a alguien al friend zone. Bueno, mucha gente. Sí, ¿estabas en friend zone o poniste a alguien en el friend zone?
Sí, pero primero quiero decir algo sobre lo que dijiste, que sí, no es justo para la otra persona, pero tampoco es justo para ti, porque si solo quieres ser amigos, es como, ay, pero no podemos ser amigos porque tú quieres ser.
I actually have one up already that you can check here. It went so well, and I want to have more live streams like this. So please subscribe to my channel so you can see those live streams and even be a part of one of them. And just know that you have to keep going. Do not give up. You are a part of something that not a lot of people accomplish. People have started learning languages and have given up. You are part of the select few that continued. So please keep going. You're going to get there, but it takes patience, dedication, and it takes routine. You will get there. Your brain has no choice but to get there, but you gotta keep going and keep pursuing your language learning dreams. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.